Alrighty, so I will be doing my presentation on humanitarianism and in relationships with screens. And my design brief basically asks the question, how can we create a digital tool in which can be used to benefit nonprofit social organizations and more? So why don't we start off with newsletters, and majority of organizations that are involved with these social causes will send their audience newsletters. These newsletters are an integral part in helping organizations build rapport with their supporters to establish their expertise within their field. With expertise comes trust. This can help improve volunteer recruitment efforts, nurture donor relationships, and garner new support within a community. That being said, newsletters, though built for good intentions, they're historically known to be lost in your emails, or users just tend to skim over them. Now, it's not always the thought that counts. It may not even be the users that aren't interested in the newsletter. It could be, and that's why they're not read. It could be maybe that there needs to be something that bridges the gap between newsletters and getting lost in your emails. So that gap brings these kind of questions up. Why are users not clicking on these links and information? What does this mean about newsletters and emails? Does the flaw lie in how the newsletter is set up, or is this the email system? And where do I start? Well, here are just a few examples of some nonprofit organizations that provide newsletters, and you can see that there are a pretty wide range of organizations, but yeah, definitely just a handful. Now, for any adjacent interests, I found an interest in homeless people and how a majority of homeless people in America, in fact, in America alone, 95% of the homeless have cell phones and 80% have smartphones with access to Wi-Fi from free places like cafes. I found this really interesting because I'm interested to see how this information can be used when building my product. It seems like almost an opportunity. And many homeless people use their phone as the main source of communication for food, shelter, and even treatment. We can assume that the homeless are not the mass majority that are subscribing to newsletters, but who's to say these newsletters won't be helpful to someone's journey out of homelessness or addiction? So having one digital platform that holds newsletters and content these organizations want their audience to see, it can help communities like the homelessness and more. So what to consider during this project? I feel like I should consider what content is being included in the newsletter, making sure that it is interesting for the audience, so much so that they'd want to read it at least. And next being that, what time are the newsletters being sent out? Is it being sent out in a time where everyone's relatively busy, or is it being sent out during lunchtime where people can read it during lunch? How well thought out is this timing, and how long will it take the user to read this new newsletter? Will it take out a lot of time in their day? Or those are just a lot of things to consider when sending out a newsletter. And so maybe having a platform that already takes care of that for you could be something that's really interesting too. But yeah, this is basically my product design brief.